What if I told you the true scale of suffering in Ambazonia is far greater than what the headlines, reports, or official numbers will ever show? If you scroll through the comments on our recent videos, you'll see it yourself, a tidal wave of frustration, anger, and heartbreak from those who know this conflict intimately. Welcome back to the African Reset, where we dig beneath the surface to uncover the stories others try to hide. Recently, we reported that over 6,000 people have died in the Anglophone regions of Cameroon, as cited by various international reports and academic literature. But almost immediately, our viewers challenged this figure. Many insisted the true death toll is much higher, some citing numbers over 30,000, and others sharing personal testimonies and anecdotal evidence that hint at an even grimmer reality. Several viewers argued passionately that the scale of violence, displacement, and loss is being grossly underreported, whether out of political motives, media fatigue, or simple neglect. One viewer bluntly described this as playing politics with people's lives. Another said, "It is more than 6,000, a sentiment echoed over and over again. Others challenged us to dig deeper. Where did you get your statistics? They asked. The real tragedy is far greater than what is being reported. Some even mentioned figures as high as 750,000 affected, not just killed but deeply scarred by the ongoing violence. Why does this matter? Because behind every number is a story, a family torn apart, a village emptied, a future stolen. The mainstream figures, as cited by sources like Human Rights Watch and other watchdog organizations, may capture a snapshot, but our viewers remind us that those snapshots are incomplete, and sometimes deliberately blurred. The comments have become a kind of unofficial archive of pain and resistance. Some urge for a negotiated settlement and peaceful resolution, believing only through dialogue and negotiation can there be a way forward. Others are resolute that Ambazonia must be free, and that only true self-determination will end the bloodshed. There's also debate around leadership, flags, and the symbols of independence, clear signs that identity and hope are still alive, even in tragedy. Under the rule of President Paul Biya, Cameroon's government has unleashed a wave of repression and brutality against the Anglophone population in Ambazonia. For years, security forces have been accused by human rights organizations of carrying out extrajudicial killings, arbitrary arrest, torture, and the burning of villages in a bid to crush dissent. The government's iron-fisted approach has only deepened resentment and despair among ordinary people in the region, who feel systematically marginalized and stripped of their rights. As the October 2025 presidential election approaches, there is widespread skepticism and fear among Ambazonians. Many doubt that any election held under Biya's regime, one notorious for silencing opposition and manipulating results, will bring justice or meaningful change to their lives. Instead, for many, the looming election is a painful reminder of a political system that refuses to recognize their voices and suffering. At the African Reset, we stand with the people of Ambazonia. We recognize not just the staggering numbers, but also the silenced voices and the unreported pain. We agree with those who say that the tragedy here is not just in the loss of life, but in the world's refusal to look closer and listen harder. The international community, researchers, and all of us who care about Africa's future must push for greater transparency, independent investigations, and genuine support for victims, not just political statements. As many of you have said, the true extent of the tragedy will only be revealed if we refuse to settle for easy answers. If you believe these stories deserve to be heard, don't just watch, share, comment, and let your voice join the growing call for truth and justice in Ambazonia. And if you have personal stories or data to add, let us know in the comments below. Do you think the world is deliberately ignoring the scale of the crisis in Ambazonia, or is it simply too painful for outsiders to face? Drop your thoughts below and help us keep this conversation alive. Thank you for watching the African Reset. To catch up on weekend political news from across Africa, check the description for a link to our blog.